A child has died of measles in West Texas, the first known death from an outbreak of the disease that is spreading in the state and in neighboring New Mexico, officials said today. The child's death was the first from the disease in a decade in the United States. The child had not been vaccinated against measles. The outbreak has so far infected at least 124 people, mostly children, in rural West Texas. Joining me now is Dr. Vin Gupta, medical contributor for NBC News. Dr. Gupta, this is heartbreaking, sad news for a whole host of reasons. And what more can you tell us about the nature of this outbreak and what we can expect given the attitude of many not to vaccinate and an administration whose health secretary is suspicious of such vaccinations?
Michael, good evening. Good to see you. You're right. This is a tragedy. And because one reason why is because it was entirely preventable. It's important for your audience to keep in mind, back in 2000, in the year 2000, we believed measles was eradicated. That was estimated by the CDC. Basically, we were not releasing any cases, any appreciable cases. That has changed over the intervening now almost nearly 25 years. And what we've seen in just 2025, we have more cases, Michael, by now February of 2025 than we did between 2020 and 2023 on an annual basis. In those years, we saw anywhere from, say, 40 to about 100 cases. We've already exceeded what we saw during that 4-year time span. So something has fundamentally changed here. This was eradicated. Now we're seeing vaccine exemption rates in places like Gaines County, Texas, up to about 20%. So that's the context for this outbreak. In terms of what's happened with this specific passing of the school-aged child that was unvaccinated, I believe, based on the data that was publicly reported, that this child had severe pneumonia. That is a complication that we can often see in the setting of measles in an unvaccinated individual. Severe pneumonia, we can see brain swelling, which is otherwise known as encephalitis. And frankly, what we know from the Children's Hospital in Lubbock, Michael, is that there's not just the child that passed away that needed ICU level care for pneumonia. There's other children as well in ICU level care, probably with similar conditions. So that's the underlying context.
We also have in the context of this conversation and story coming across the wire this evening, the FDA is canceling its spring meeting, winter meeting to select flu strains for the new seasons of shots. Now, this is typically a convening around this time to sort of look at what should be included in the upcoming flu vaccine. But that meeting has been canceled now. No indication of when it will be, reconvened. I don't even know where to begin with that, because you mean we're not going to have a meeting to see what we need to do to prepare our elderly and our babies against the flu in the fall? I mean, you talk to me about what this means. Yeah. Hopefully they'll have it next week, but right now it's canceled.
Well, I think it's important also, thank you for raising this. This is important for everybody to realize across the political spectrum that this is not normal when a change in administration happens, Michael. We didn't see this during the George W. Bush era when they transitioned from Bill Clinton. We didn't see this, frankly, during Trump 1 when he transitioned from Obama. We did not see these routine pro forma vaccine advisory committee meetings to do something extremely important, as you point out, pick the flu strains for our upcoming flu vaccine that we're all going to need this time next year. This is something that's routine. We work with our global peers across the spectrum, frankly, convened by the WHO, which we've already left, by the way, to figure out and be as smart as possible. So there's nothing political here. There's no precedence for canceling our participation in at least the US-based meeting. So who knows? And this is, by the way, the second time a vaccine advisory meeting, Michael, has been canceled in just the last few weeks with no plans for rescheduling. So it's unclear what's going to happen and why it's happening, but it's going to leave us with a significant data void.
It is concerning. It is problematic, Doctor, particularly when you have the Secretary of Health saying, as he did, we are following the measles epidemic every day. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16, so it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year. Yeah, okay, I'll buy your lying statistics, but in all of that, no child has died. And today we're talking about one who has. Dr. Vin Gupta, thank you. That's all for this hour, my friends. I'm Michael Steele. I'll see you back here again tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. All In with Chris Hayes starts right now.